The moon hung fat and low in the sky, a silver coin tossed into a velvet abyss. For me, Ash, it used to be a thing of beauty. Now, it was a countdown timer to a nightmare I couldn't wake from. It all started a month ago, on a camping trip that was supposed to be about escaping the city noise. It's not running into a monster ripped straight from a horror film. I remember the forest floor, damp with evening dew, and then a pair of eyes, glowing like embers in the darkness. There was a blur of fur, a flash of teeth, and a searing pain in my shoulder that felt like liquid fire. I blacked out. When I woke up, I had a nasty bite mark and a story no one would believe. The doctors said it was an animal attack, probably a rabid wolf, if only it were that simple. The first change was subtle. My senses sharpened to an insane degree. I could smell the rain coming hours before the clouds gathered, hear whispers from across a crowded room. My body felt different, stronger, faster. I healed from cuts and scrapes in minutes. At first, it was exhilarating. I felt like a superhero, Tia. But then the moon began to wax, and a primal rage started to bubble just beneath my skin. The hunger wasn't for food, it was for the hunt. The need to run, to chase, to feel the wind in my hair and the earth under my feet. Or pause. The first full moon was agony. I locked myself in my basement, but the transformation was a force of nature. It wasn't just a change. It was an annihilation of self. My bones snapped and reshaped, my skin stretched and tore, sprouting thick, black fur. My face elongated into a snout filled with dagger-like teeth, and the pain was indescribable. I became a beast, a classic, terrifying werewolf, driven by instinct and a thirst I couldn't comprehend. Tamed. When I came to my senses the next morning, surrounded by the wreckage of my basement, I was horrified. I was a monster. For the next few weeks, I lived in a state of constant dread. I isolated myself, terrified of what I might do, who I might hurt. I researched everything I could find on lycanthropy, digging through ancient folklore and modern conspiracy theories. Most of it was useless myth, but one legend kept reappearing. The story of the Ultima. An original werewolf, a progenitor whose bloodline held the key to controlling the curse, or amplifying it. The texts were vague, speaking of a balance between beast and man, a potential for something more than just a mindless monster. It was a sliver of hope in my dark new reality. I had to find a way to control this, to understand what I was becoming. The next full moon approached like a death sentence. This time, I decided I wouldn't fight it. I wouldn't lock myself away. I drove out to the most remote wilderness I could find, a vast, empty expanse of desert and rock. If I was going to be a monster, at least I wouldn't be a danger to anyone else. As the moon climbed to its zenith, the familiar agony began. But this time, I didn't scream. I focused. I held on to the image of myself, of Ash, with every ounce of my willpower. I refused to let the beast consume me entirely. I gritted my teeth through the excruciating shift. My mind, a tiny island in a raging sea of primal fury. And then, something different happened. As the transformation reached its peak, a new wave of energy surged through me. It wasn't the same blind rage as before. It was powerful, yes, but it was also clear. The pain in my back intensified, becoming a focal point. I felt something pushing, tearing through muscle and skin, but it wasn't a violent breaking. It felt like an emergence. I roared, a sound that was half wolf, half something else entirely, as two massive appendages burst from my shoulder blades. They weren't leathery bat wings like some demon. They were covered in feathers, jet black feathers that shimmered with an almost celestial light, catching the moonlight like polished obsidian. Tate, I stumbled to my feet, my new form feeling alien and yet perfectly natural. I was larger than before, my black fur sleek and thick. My eyes glowed not with red rage, but with a brilliant, silver light that mirrored the moon above. I flexed the wings, teal. They were immense, powerful. I could feel the air shifting with their slightest movement. This wasn't the monster from my nightmares. I looked at my claws, still sharp, still deadly, but they felt like my own. I could think, I could reason. The hunger was there, the call of the wild, but it was a part of me now, not a force controlling me. I was the Ultima, the beast and the man, fused into one. But the wings, the angel-like wings, legend had ever mentioned this. I took a tentative step, then another. The power coursing through me was intoxicating. I stretched my wings wide, feeling the desert wind catch beneath them. On pure instinct, I leaped, pushing off the ground with my powerful legs and beating my wings with a mighty downstroke. I was airborne. I wasn't just running, I was flying. The world fell away beneath me, a patchwork of shadow and moonlight. Feeling was pure, unadulterated freedom. The rage was gone, replaced by a profound sense of peace and power. I soared through the night sky, a winged wolf, a myth made real. I wasn't cursed, I was reborn. But what did this mean? Was I the only one? The legends of the Ultima spoke of a purpose, a role to play. Was I meant to be a guardian, a hunter of other, less controlled monsters? Or was I something new entirely, an anomaly in a world of secrets? As I flew under the silent gaze of the moon, I knew my old life was over forever. This transformation wasn't the end of my story. It was the explosive beginning. My name is Ash, and I am the Ultima werewolf. My hunt has just begun, not for prey, but for answers. And for the first time since that fateful bite, I wasn't afraid. I was ready. The night was no longer my enemy. It was my domain, and I was about to find out what other secrets it was hiding. Thank you for watching, and be sure to follow for the next chapter of the story.